Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on this special voyage of values exploration. I'm Johan van Lille, the coordinator of the Kiddo Learner Support Unit, and I'm thrilled to welcome each one of you to our webinar. As parents, educators, and caregivers, we all share a common goal to guide young hearts of the next generation towards a moral compass that will steer them on a journey of compassion, integrity, and respect. In today's rapid changing world, instilling strong ethical values in our children has never been more crucial. And the choices they make today will shape the world they inherit tomorrow. And it falls upon us to empower them with the moral intelligence needed to navigate the complexities of life with integrity and empathy. Unselfie Why Empathetic Kids Succeed in Our All About Me World is a book written by Michelle Borba, an educational psychologist, parenting expert, and author. The book addresses the decline of empathy in children and offers practical strategies to foster empathy and compassion in the current self-centered culture. Now, she presents research and real-life examples that demonstrate how this decline impacts relationships, emotional well-being, and society as a whole. In the book, she raised real concerns about an empathy crisis among children and young adults. Factors such as excessive screen time, reduced face-to-face interaction, the prevalence of social media contribute to this issue. Empathy goes beyond surface level emotions. It involves understanding and sharing the feelings, perspectives, and needs of others. Genuine empathy is the foundation for building positive relationships and making responsible decisions. Various factors contribute to the empathy crisis, such as excessive screen time, lack of face-to-face interactions, parental overemphasis on achievements and success, and the prevalence of social media. Michelle Borba identifies 9 essential habits of empathy that are crucial for fostering this critical skill in children. And we are now going to look at all nine of these essential habits. On this slide, we'll explore the concept of emotional literacy. It's a crucial aspect of fostering empathy in children. Emotional literacy refers to the ability to recognize, understand, and express emotions, both in oneself and also in others. And it is the foundation upon which empathy is built. So emotional literacy plays a pivotal role in developing empathy as it enables children to connect with and appropriately respond to the feelings of others. Let's look at a few practical tips regarding this. So, to promote emotional literacy, it is essential to create a safe and open environment where children feel comfortable expressing their emotions without fear of judgment, and encourage open communication and active listening. Help your child develop the vocabulary for emotions by labeling feelings in everyday situations. For example, when they seem sad or happy, acknowledge this feeling and help them to name these emotions. And encourage your child to reflect on emotions by asking questions such as, how do you feel about the situation? Or how do you think your friends feel after that happened? This helps them understand and empathize with others' emotions. If your child sees a friend crying, ask, how do you think your friend feels right now? Or how do you feel if you were in their shoes? By asking such questions, you encourage your child to consider the feelings of others and develop their empathetic skills. On this slide, we'll explore the concept of moral identity and its significance in shaping children's behavior and decision making. Moral identity refers to having a strong sense of one's moral values and principles. It acts as a guiding force shaping an individual's actions and choices. Developing a clear moral identity is crucial for fostering ethical behavior and decision making in children. So, Practical tips here is engage in open discussions with your child about your family's values, for example, and about your family's ethical principles. Explain why these values are essential and how they shape the way your family interacts with the world. During family meals or quality time, discuss ethical dilemmas and share how your family how your family's values guide your choices. Encourage your child to participate in activities or courses that align with their values. Support their involvement in community service or charitable endeavors that reflect their moral identity. If your child expresses concern about the environment, encourage them to join environmental initiatives or practices that promote sustainability. Children often learn by example, so it's crucial to model moral behavior and decision making in your daily life. Demonstrate to them honesty and kindness and respect in your interactions with others, and explain why these behaviors are essential to you. On this slide, we will delve into the concept of perspective taking and its significance in fostering understanding and empathy in children. Now, perspective taking is the capacity to see situations and events from another person's point of view. It plays a crucial role in developing empathy and compassion. Now, perspective taking enables children to understand and relate to the feelings, thoughts, and experiences of others, promoting a deeper level of empathy. Some practical tips is like engage in discussions with your child about various situations, conflicts, or maybe social issues, and then encourage them to consider how different individuals involved might be feeling or thinking. A good example is there if there's a disagreement between friends, discuss how each person might see the situation and why they might feel the way that they feel. Also, read books or watch movies together that feature diverse characters and viewpoints, because this provides an opportunity to discuss the unique perspectives of each character. A good example is that after reading a book or watching a movie, talk about the different characters and how they might experience events differently. Engage in role-playing activities where your child can take on a different role to understand how others may perceive and react to the same situation. And then role-play scenarios involving maybe a conflict, and have your child switch roles and experience the situation from different perspectives. On this slide, we'll delve into the concept of moral imagination and its role in fostering ethical decision-making in children. Now, moral imagination involves the ability to envision and explore possible moral actions and outcomes in various situations. It allows children to think creatively about ethical choices. Moral imaginations play a significant role in developing critical thinking skills and empathy as children consider the consequences of their actions on others. Practical tips here. First, foster moral imagination through creative activities such as storytelling, role-playing, or art projects that involve moral dilemmas. For example, create a story with your child about a character facing an ethical decision and discuss the different choices that this character could make. Ask open-ended questions. Engage your child in conversations about how they would handle moral challenges in real-life situations. Ask open-ended questions that encourage critical thinking. So if your child maybe witnesses someone cheating during a game, ask them what they would do in that situation and why. And then also encourage your child's curiosity about moral issues and ethical considerations. Create a safe space for them to ask questions and explore different perspectives. So, for example, if your child shows interest in a news story involving an ethical dilemma, encourage them to share their thoughts and feelings about the situation. A good example is the imploding of the Titan while on its journey to the Titanic. There's lots of moral dilemmas involved in that story that you can discuss with your child. On this slide, we'll explore the concept of self-regulation and its vital role in cultivating empathy in children. Now, self-regulation refers to the ability to manage one's own emotions and impulses. It plays a crucial role in responding empathetically to the feelings of others. When children can effectively regulate their emotions, they are better equipped to connect with and respond compassionately to others' feelings. A few practical tips here. Introduce mindfulness and relaxation techniques to help your child cope with their emotions effectively. So, practice deep breathing exercises with your child to help them calm down during moments of stress and frustration. Another tip is to help your children learn by observing their caregivers. Model self-regulation by demonstrating how you handle your own emotions calmly and constructively. And if you feel upset, express your emotions calmly and explain how you are managing your feelings in a healthy way. And then another tip is to encourage your child to take breaks or steps away from overwhelming situations when needed. So if your child is feeling overwhelmed during a social event, let them know it's okay to take a short break to collect themselves. On this slide, we will explore the concept of kindness and its profound impact on fostering empathy and compassion in children. Kindness involves showing care, compassion, and consideration for others. It is a powerful virtue that nurtures positive connections and promotes a more empathetic society. Acts of kindness create a ripple effect of positivity, encouraging children to understand and respond to others' feelings with empathy. Praise and reinforce acts of kindness in your child and others is a good tip. Celebrate their empathetic gestures and acknowledge the positive impact they have on people's lives. So when your child shares their toys with a friend or helps a classmate, express your appreciation for their kindness and call it by its name. Lead by example and engage in acts of kindness together as a family. Participate in volunteering activities or offer a helping hand to a neighbor in need. Volunteer at a local shelter, perhaps, or assist an elderly neighbor with their groceries. Involve your child in these acts of kindness to instill the value of compassion. And then set up a kindness jar at home where your child can write down or draw acts of kindness they perform. Typical examples will be whenever your child does something kind for someone, they can write it down on a slip of paper and place it in the jar. And then celebrate the contents of the jar regularly to enforce the significance of kindness. In this slide, we will explore the significance of collaboration in fostering empathy and building strong relationships. Collaboration emphasizes working together with others, valuing their contributions, and respecting their ideas. Now, it's a fundamental skill that promotes empathy and cooperation. Collaboration encourages children to consider and appreciate the perspectives and feelings of others, promoting a sense of empathy and understanding. Engage in collaborative activities as a family. So promote collaboration within the family by engaging in activities that require teamwork and cooperation. For example, cook a meal together as a family where everyone contributes to the preparation or work on solving puzzles as a team and provide opportunities for your child to learn negotiation and conflict resolution skills to navigate disagreements respectfully. So if your child has a disagreement with a friend, guide them through constructive ways to communicate and find solutions together. Another tip is to encourage teamwork in sports, group projects at school, or community activities. When your child participates in team sports or group projects, discuss the importance of cooperation and understanding others' roles. On this slide, we will explore the concept of moral courage and its importance in fostering empathy and ethical decision-making in children. Moral courage involves the bravery to stand up for what is right, even when faced with challenges, adversity, or peer pressure. It is an essential quality that helps individuals uphold their moral values. Moral courage empowers children to empathize with others' struggles and take a stand to support those in need. Let's look at a few practical tips. Engage in discussions with your child about real life examples of moral courage and the impact it can have on individuals and communities. Share stories of historical figures or everyday heroes who demonstrated moral courage in standing up for justice and equality. Another tip is to encourage your child to speak up when they witness unfair treatment, bullying, or any form of injustice. If your child sees someone being treated unkindly, encourage them to intervene or seek help from a trusted adult. Offer support and praise when your child demonstrates moral courage in actions or decisions. So if your child stands up for a classmate who is being bullied, acknowledge their courage and discuss how their actions made a positive difference. And the last one in this series is on this slide. We will explore the concept of altruistic leadership and its significance in fostering empathy and positive change in children. Altruistic leadership involves using one's influence and abilities to help others and create a positive change in the community or the world. Altruistic leaders demonstrate empathy and compassion by taking action to support and uplift others. A few practical tips here is to foster your child's leadership skills by involving them in activities that allow them to take responsibility and initiative. Encourage your child to lead a project at school, a community service event, or a team activity where they can make decisions and inspire others. Also, encourage your child to identify issues that they care about and explore ways they can make a positive difference. If your child is passionate about environmental issues, support them in organizing a local cleanup event or planting trees in the neighborhood. Acknowledge and celebrate instances where your child shows leadership in helping others. And if your child initiates a fundraising campaign for a charitable cause, recognize their efforts and discuss the impact of their actions. So altruistic leaderships exemplify empathy as they actively seek to improve the well-being of others and their communities. Now, The Moral Intelligence of Children and How to Raise a Moral Child is a book written by Robert Coles, and it explores the development of morals, values, and ethics in children. It's already published in 1997, but the book draws on Cole's extensive research and experience as a child psychiatrist and explores how children develop a sense of right and wrong, ethical principles, and moral understanding. And in this book, he takes readers on a captivating exploration through the different stages of moral development that children experience, from early childhood to adolescence. He highlights the significance of peer and society influences on shaping a child's moral understanding and behaviors. He also emphasized the profound impact of storytelling on facilitating moral imagination and critical thinking. So there are very different stages of moral development that children go through as they grow and interact with their environment. As children progress through these stages, their understanding of ethics and values evolves, influenced by their interaction with family, peers, and communities. So according to Coles, and there are many of these models, but I like this one because this is specifically designed for children. And according to him, there are three stages. There's an early childhood, which is about from infancy to age 5. There's a middle childhood, which is from age 6 to 11. And then there's adolescence, which is ages 12 and above. So if we look at the first stage, which is the early childhood stage, in this early stage of moral development, children's understanding of right and wrong is rudimentary. They learn primarily through observation and experience, absorbing moral cues from their caregivers and immediate environment. Coles observed that young children often have a keen sense of fairness and empathy, displaying basic altruistic tendencies even in their early interactions with others. However, their moral reasoning is limited and their actions are primarily driven by immediate consequences and emotions. In middle childhood, ages 6 to 11, As children enter middle childhood, their moral understanding becomes more sophisticated, and they begin to internalize societal norms and rules, which are reinforced through interactions with peers, schools, and community. Now, this is a crucial period of learning moral values as children develop a sense of personal responsibility and start to comprehend the consequences of their actions on others. Coles highlights the importance of parents and educators in guiding children through this stage, encouraging them to think critically about ethical choices and reinforcing positive behaviors. Now, in adolescence, ages 12 and above, moral development becomes more complex and abstract. Teenagers engage in more introspective moral reasoning and start to grapple with moral dilemmas that may not have clear-cut answers. They question societal norms and authority, seeking to establish their own moral identity. And the key word here is identity. Coles emphasizes that adolescents' moral growth is significantly influenced by their peer relationships, by their friends, and the broader social environment, which may present both positive and negative influences. And during this period, open communication and opportunities for moral exploration are crucial for guiding teenagers toward ethical decision making. Moral intelligence refers to a child's ability to perceive moral issues, understand ethical principles, and make decisions based on their understanding of right and wrong. Moral intelligence plays a fundamental role in shaping a child's character, empathy, and ethical decision making. The first component of moral intelligence involves a child's capacity to recognize and understand moral dilemmas and ethical considerations in different situations. The second component involves a child's understanding of ethical principles and values that guide their behavior and decision making. The final component entails a child's ability to make decisions aligned with their moral understanding and ethical principles. Parents and educators play a pivotal role in nurturing moral intelligence in children. Now, practical tips on how to foster moral intelligence. Be a moral role model and demonstrate ethical behavior and decision making in your own life. Your actions speak louder than words, and children learn by observing their parents' behavior. Be consistent in upholding moral values and principles, and encourage open and honest communication with your child. Create a safe and non-judgmental environment where they can freely discuss moral dilemmas and seek guidance. Engage in discussions about moral issues presented in everyday situations, books, movies, or news stories. Encourage your child to share their thoughts and perspectives and explore the implications of these different choices. Consistency in upholding moral values implies that a person's behavior remains constant and reliable when faced with various choices or dilemmas. It requires living by a set of guiding principles that reflect what the individual considers to be right and just, even when it may be inconvenient or unpopular. Now, key aspects of being consistent in upholding more moral values include things like integrity, ethical decision-making, resisting peer pressure, especially when you're faced with external influences or pressures to compromise on ethical principles, recognizing complexity, and also setting a positive example. Now, moral issues that children are facing in everyday situations are quite interesting and complex because children often face the dilemma of whether to share their toys, their snacks, or belongings with others. They may grapple with conflicting feelings of generosity and possessiveness. When witnessing a friend misbehavior, children may struggle with deciding whether to tell an adult, e.g. a teacher or a parent, about the incident, fearing that they might be seen as a tattletale or risking potential repercussions from their peers. Children may also face dilemmas where telling the truth could result in getting them into trouble or facing consequences. They might be tempted to lie to avoid punishment. Children may encounter situations where they witness bullying or unfair treatment of others, and deciding whether to intervene and support the victim or to maybe stay silent due to the fear of repercussions is a common moral dilemma. Children may experience dilemmas related to excluding or including others in their play or social groups. They may need to balance their desire for close friendships with being inclusive and kind to all peers. And children might also be faced with situations where their peers encourage them to engage in inappropriate or harmful behaviors. And deciding whether to resist peer pressure can be a challenging moral dilemma. And children may hear or participate in gossip about others, and they may need to decide whether to spread rumors or refrain from participating in such behaviors. In the digital age, children may face moral dilemmas related to online behavior, and this can include deciding whether to share private information, engaging in cyberbullying, or confronting harmful content. And children may encounter situations where they need to defend their personal beliefs or values, even if it differs from those of their friends and peers. Let's look at a few practical tips on how to foster moral intelligence. Now, utilize storytelling in literature to convey moral lessons and explore ethical concepts is a valuable way to help children foster moral intelligence. Read books or watch movies together that offer opportunities to discuss complex moral situations. Now, here are some examples of how storytelling in literature can help children and adolescents grapple with moral issues and foster their moral imagination and development. The first example is The Boy Who Cried Wolf, is one of Aesop's fables, and the moral issue here is honesty and trustworthiness. So this classic fable teaches children about the consequences of lying and the importance of being honest. The tale of the shepherd boy who repeatedly lies about a wolf attack illustrate a loss of trust when someone's words cannot be relied upon. Another good example, children can empathize with the characters and understand the value of truthfulness in their own lives. Another example is the Diary of Anne Frank. And the moral issues here are compassion and humanity in the face of adversity. Anne Frank's powerful diary provides a first-hand account of the Holocaust and the resilience of the human spirit. Now, reading Anne's experiences help adolescents grasp the horrors of discrimination and persecution. It prompts discussions about empathy, tolerance, and the importance of standing up against injustice. The Lion and the Mouse, another Aesop's fable. Here it's all about kindness and gratitude. And in this fable, a lion spares a mouse life, and later the mouse returned the favor by freeing the lion from a hunter's trap. The story illustrates the concept of reciprocity and kindness, showing that even small acts of compassion can have significant consequences. And children learn to appreciate the value of being kind, being kind. Children learn to appreciate the values of being kind and expressing gratitude. Then they can also watch movies with you, like The Lion King. And the lesson here is the importance of courage, responsibility, and forgiveness. So how can parents use it? After watching the movie, parents can discuss the character development of Simba, who learns to take responsibility for his actions and confront his fears. Parents can talk about the consequences of Scar's actions and the importance of forgiveness and reconciliation. Finding Nemo is also another good example, and here the significance of perseverance, parental love, and overcoming fear is very significant. Parents can discuss how Marlin's faces his fears and perseveres on his journey to find his son Nemo. The movie provides an opportunity to talk about the importance of parental love, trust, and supporting children as they explore the world. So there are many Disney or Pixar movies for moral development. Use the movie's character and their struggles to discuss empathy and understanding. So ask your child how they would feel if they were in the same situation as a particular character, and encourage them to consider the emotions and the perspectives of others. And then also encourage ethical reflection. As your child watches more movies, encourage them to reflect on their own ethical beliefs and values, and ask questions like, what is the most important value you learned from this movie? How can you apply what you've learned to be a kinder and more responsible person? And then monitor growth and development over time. Observe changes in your child's responses and interpretations of the movie. Look for signs of increased empathy, moral reasoning, and a deeper understanding of ethical concepts. And then lastly, be a role model. As you watch the movies together, model ethical behavior and discuss how you apply similar values and principles in your own life. Children often learn by example, so your actions and discussions are essential in shaping their ethical development. And then after watching a movie, encourage your child to create their own stories or drawings that reflect ethical themes and values. And this can provide valuable insights into how they internalize and apply what they've learned. Here's some practical tips on how to foster moral intelligence. Teach your child to understand and empathize with the feelings and experiences of others, and then encourage them to consider how their actions may impact others and to show kindness and compassion. Recognize and celebrate instances when your child displays moral intelligence and make ethical choices. Positive reinforcement reinforces their understanding of right and wrong. Address moral dilemmas. Encourage your child to confront moral dilemmas and make tough decisions. Help them understand that ethical decision making is not always easy, but it is essential for personal growth. Encourage responsibility. Instill a sense of responsibility in your child for their actions and their impact on others. Teach them to take ownership of their behavior and make amends where needed. So the role of families are quite important, because families play a central role shaping a child's moral development. Establish open lines of communication with your child. Encourage them to express their thoughts, feelings, and moral dilemmas freely. Create a safe and non-judgmental environment where they can discuss ethical issues without fear of criticism. And when setting rules or expectations related to moral behavior, explain the reasoning behind them and help your child to understand why certain actions are considered right or wrong in different contexts. Establish family rituals that promote moral values and ethics. Engage in activities like volunteering together, expressing gratitude, or discussing ethical topics during family dinners. Teach your child the concept of responsibility and the consequences of their actions, and help them to understand that their choices can impact others and that taking responsibility for their behavior is an important part of ethical development. Now, exposure to different cultural norms, media portrayals, and social interactions can shape a child's ethical understanding. Keep an eye on the media content your child consumes, including television shows, movies, video games, and online platforms. Choose age-appropriate and morally enriching media that align with your family's values. And whenever possible, watch TV shows or play video games with your child. This allows you to discuss the content, address moral issues, and provide guidance on ethical decision making. Teach your child to think critically about media messages. Discuss advertising techniques, stereotypes, and biased portrayals to help them understand the influence of media on perceptions and values. And this is especially important with teenagers. Create a safe space for your child to discuss their feelings and opinions about media content. Encourage them to share any concerns or confusion that they may have encountered while consuming media. Introduce your child to diverse cultural content that reflects various perspectives and values. This exposure can help them develop a broader understanding of ethical issues and cultural norms. Talk openly with your child about negative stereotypes they might encounter in the media, especially with TikTok. Teach them to question and challenge harmful portrayals of different groups and cultures. Encourage your child to think critically about the messages conveyed through media. Ask questions that promote reflection. So, what do you think the character should do in this situation and why? And then also establish reasonable limits on screen time and encourage a healthy balance between media consumption and other activities that promote physical, social, and emotional development. And model responsible media usage yourself. Demonstrate how to engage with media mindfully and critically, setting a positive example for your child. If your child is using social media, talk to them about the potential impact of online interactions on their moral development and teach them about digital citizenship, cyberbullying, and responsible online behavior. Encourage your child to engage in face-to-face interactions and activities that nurture empathy, compassion, and social skills. Building strong real-life relationships is essential for moral development. Continuously reinforce your family's values and ethics through discussions and shared experiences. Cultivate an environment that supports your child's moral growth and aligns with your family's principles. And then ethical behavior on social media. Have an open and honest conversation with your child about appropriate behavior on social media. Set clear guidelines and expectations for what is acceptable and unacceptable, emphasizing the importance of treating others with respect and kindness. And then educate about privacy and security. Teach your child about the importance of safeguarding personal information, including not sharing sensitive details online, and discuss the potential consequences of sharing personal information with strangers. And be a positive role model for your child and demonstrating ethical behavior on social media. So if they have access to your profiles, you have to show ethical behavior there. And then help your child develop critical thinking skills to evaluate the credibility and of information shared on social media, again, especially on TikTok. And then emphasize the importance of empathy and kindness in online interactions. Encourage your child to think about the impact of their words and actions on others and to avoid engaging in hurtful or negative behavior. And then lastly, teach your child to question and evaluate information critically, including claims made by others, to develop healthy skepticism. And that's it. If there are any questions, you are welcome to ask it now. Good. It looks like there are no questions. I hope you enjoyed it and see you next time. We'll send out all the information through social media for our next parent webinar. Thank you so much for attending and have a lovely evening. You're more than welcome to drop off the call.